Yeah.
Welcome to the Wise Take DFS podcast. I'm your host, CK013. You can find me on Twitter at CK_013. And I am joined once again, doing his third, that's right, fourth, that's right,
on the Wise stream.
fourth show of the day, the true OG, Paulie D. You can find him on Twitter at Paulie with 8 of them bitches. Paulie, what's happening?
What's up, man? A lot happening.
Black
We had a
Lives
successful class. A lot of people turned out. People watching it after the fact. Really hope it's helpful. Would like to see some feedback, positive, negative. I can take it if it's bad, but want to make it better for the next time because I think we're gonna do them some more.
Yeah, we had a great turnout. Appreciate everybody that saw the value in it and signed up. You guys did an awesome job, man. I only watched part of it, but I think that it's something that, you and I, when we first broke in, there really wasn't a ton of places to get information and to start. So, our trial and error was with our personal money. And, you lose a lot of money in the process of learning how to play the game. And, listen, I'm not saying that everybody can always be positive. Everybody can always be winning. But it is something that, everybody should be able to sustain this as a hobby. You should be able to learn the skills to make you competitive to at least sustain this as a hobby. So where you have, maybe you're up some, you're losing some, but you should be able to maintain and keep playing. And the problem is getting through that learning curve to hit that point where you're at that level, and then from there decide whatever your goals are. But anyway, man, I know I like how you touched up on the goals and there's a lot of different things that you guys went over that was really cool, and it's a great place to start. Listen, guys, those of you that missed the show, it is going to be up, archived and recorded. You just got to go to the NBA section, go to coaching, just go to the bottom, you'll see group coaching, you'll see it right there. You can still purchase it, you can still watch the recorded version. Those of you that watched it live, I hope you enjoyed it. Like Paulie said, give us some feedback. We had a chat there, so you guys were able to interact with them, and from what I've seen and from what I got, and I went into the chat and blazed through a little bit, and it sounded to me like we had a lot of positive feedback in there, man. So awesome job with that, you and Cash, and like you said, bro, if the feedback's there, if I think we're gonna do another one of these, and hopefully we'll make it a semi-regular thing at least, and see where it goes from there. But we'll do more.
It's just about getting better at what we do.
That's it. That's it. The love of the game, skill, working on your craft, mastering the craft. You know what I mean? Anyway, Paulie, how you doing tonight in basketball? Doing a little decent, right?
Doing pretty good. Yeah, we'll see. I think this Phoenix game's kind of fallen off, so gonna end with a victory, but not a comma, but close, pretty close.
Close. Yeah, man. I'm trying to see if I can hold on. We've been hot. The nation's been hot. I gotta say, we've had a podcast listener win $100,000 the other night, right?
100K.
100K. Yeah, and then one of our members, DeRosa, right? He won over about 30K.
30.
Cash won over 2. I won over 2 the other night. You've been winning consistently for I don't know how many days now. You're just so close from the big pop, In
the class, I was like, Cash, you won 22. CK won 26. He's like, I won 28. He made sure to let me know that he got more than me that night. And I was like, you got it, no doubt, no diggity.
No doubt.
I didn't know. I just saw one screenshot.
That's it.
I didn't mean to put you down.
That's it, man. Right now, I don't know wwhat's going on. I'm winning 21 right now, and there's 2 minutes left in this game, so something's gonna happen that's crucial. But I don't know because we've been so busy, in the back end producing these shows, whatever, with the football show before. I don't know who I'm rooting for. I don't know. It's a weird thing. Normally we're on top of this and we know who we're rooting for. I have no idea. I don't know who's behind me. I don't know what they've got. All I know is I don't want the game to end just yet, but maybe I do. But I don't know. That's my point. I don't know what to root for.
It's almost over. It's a minute and a half left.
I just dropped to 1936. Whatever happened just dropped me from 21 to 1936. I am going backwards, ladies and gentlemen. I am going backwards in the last minute. This is crucializing. I hate not knowing what I have going on here. I know who I play, but I was busy tonight, so I don't know what the field has. I don't know anything. I just know I just know I'm rooting for Trevor Ariza. I know that for sure. Oh, I'm back up to
Yeah.
2261. It's a wild ride. It is a wild
He just
ride
got
right
an
now.
assist. He just got an assist.
Trevor
And then
Ariza.
Doncic with a turnover.
Trevor Ariza. Do your thing,
Yeah.
man. Do your thing,
I
boy.
think I think they're calling a timeout and they're gonna pull. I just have a feeling. 13-point game, minute 15. Doncic just turned it over. I think it's gonna be send in the benches. Nope. Nope. It's not what happened. Crawford missed a shot. Doncic got a rebound. Never mind.
Nope. That's not what happened.
Nope. Nope.
All right, man. We'll come back to this with a little update when this ends. We got a 9-game slate on a Friday. Kind of juicy, right? We had 2 bigger slates. They were both 11. Shout out to Cash, 11. And then we had like a 3-gamer, a 4-gamer. We actually had some pretty good nights, but either way, like, we like this range, right? Like that 9,
Yeah.
that like 7 to 9 is like that sweet spot in the NBA. 7. Start us off with point guards, Paul. We have some interesting games. We've got Atlanta at Boston. We've got Washington at Brooklyn. We've got Golden State at Sacramento, and that's just what I can remember off the top of my head. Like it's should be juicy, but we were going a little bit before. We didn't see a whole ton in the beginning, so let's see what happens. Point guards, Paulie, you looking above 5K. What stands out to you in your first look?
You know, I like this OKC Denver game. Russ has great history against Denver, but what I'm seeing at him recently, I don't know. But he's definitely in the conversation. But, you know, there's a chance it becomes Paul George, but he's definitely on the list right now. Kemba against the Knicks, he's at home, which we like, and against the Knicks, you know, where he's from, so I don't mind that. Got to see who's in and out for Boston. You know, they're playing really well. I'd be nervous that they just blow out Atlanta, but if enough guys are out, then maybe we look at Kyrie. Oladipo at 8-4. If we know there's no like minute restriction, he played 29 minutes last game. You know, he's 8-4. Usually he's up over 9. Do that. You think Kawhi's gonna play? Like, I was surprised he didn't play the other night. Do you know why he didn't play?
They said it was his hip. I was
His hip?
shocked too. I was very shocked. I mean, luckily for us, we were already kind of off that game, so we were fine. But yeah, I was still surprised he didn't play.
Yeah. Um, Point guards against Cleveland. Eric Bledsoe's in the discussion, although I don't love that price tag. D'Angelo Russell against Washington. I like him, man. And this is actually a pretty deep position. Spencer Dinwiddie, if you don't want to play D'Lo, 6,500. He's been balling. Shooting guards, scoring guards against Boston. You got Trae Young at 6'1". Loaded, son. Loaded. Yeah, that's it. I mean, even Colin Clarkson or Jordan Clarkson, too. One of those two against Milwaukee, I don't mind either, but I think I like more above.
Yeah, I think Westbrook, like you said, is definitely someone we're gonna have to analyze tomorrow. I'm with you. I don't love the way he's been playing necessarily, but we have to consider the fact that, and like I also don't love playing guys in Denver, right? Like Westbrook, I don't mind. He's just a freak athlete. But one thing I will say about Denver is they're missing Gary Harris, and without Gary Harris, they're not as good of a defensive team. That's a pretty big hole for them that they have to fill defensively. Gary Harris is obviously the guard that they will put on Westbrook. They'll put on Dame. Any scoring guard that they're concerned about, they'll put Gary Harris on him. And so without Gary Harris, you're relying on Jamal Murray, you're relying on Torrey Craig, some of these other guys that are trying to fill the gap, Monta Morris even. And it just seems to be a pretty good spot for Westbrook in a situation where, I think Denver has played really good defense all season, and I still think they're going to be a fair defensive team. But losing Millsap and Gary Harris, like that's a big blow to your defense right there.
Huge blow. Yeah.
So I think that the OKC side could be kind of interesting in a situation where I would normally like make it up an excuse to not play Westbrook because he's too expensive. Like this is something where maybe there's an opportunity there at 10-8. Obviously, I expect John Wall to be pretty popular, but I think from there, the next guy that's the most interesting from a price perspective is Damian Lillard. I'm going to have to make a decision on this dude, and maybe that decision does depend on Kawhi Leonard playing or not, but Dame is 8-5 at home against Toronto. So don't get me wrong, they are one of the better defensive teams out there. But 8-5 at home against Toronto, definitely a situation that I want to analyze. Dame is only 8-5. That's just hard for me to fathom because of the usage. I know in his last game, I'm sure he was somewhat disappointing. But if you look at before that, like the dude I know he had a 29 against Memphis. That's Memphis, right? First of all, that was like a 3-4. It might have been a 4-6, in fact. It was against a slow-paced Memphis team. But before that, he's consistently going for 40. So at 8-5, if he does go for 40, like it's not like he's killing you. You know what I'm saying? He's not helping you. He's not killing you.
I mean, you're gonna need more.
Of course,
yeah,
of course.
I hear you.
But like, if he were to get you the 40, if he gets you the 40 at 9K, that's like, I know it seems like only $500, but it is kind of different. You know what I'm saying? Like that extra 500 really could have gotten you an upgrade somewhere else to kind of justify the imbalance. So I don't love the matchup, but I do like the price, and obviously Dame being at home, and then like. The other guy for tournament consideration is going to be Bledsoe, just because. Like, probably since we've been on to this all season. Play point guards against Cleveland. That's just, hey.
Commandment.
That's it. You got to have one team. And you know, I know last time he did well, it was a blowout. Giannis didn't play. Giannis got to be there. But first of all, he's the one on this team that's playing well lately. Like, Bledsoe's the one that's been playing really well. So, the combination, that point guard Cleveland's home. Maybe they keep it a little bit closer this time. Probably not, though, because they don't have Tristan Thompson, and they actually suck really bad. I don't know. We'll see. You know what I mean? Take us down on the 5K, Paulie. What you see in Value Town?
Let's see. So, oh, my bad. I was on shooting guard. I'm like, who are these guys? All right. There we go. Alec Burks. You know, we got those three guys on Cleveland to kind of sort through, figure out which one's in the best spot, see who else is going to be playing. But, you know, if he's going to be getting those kind of minutes, I'm definitely interested. Maybe we can take a look at Tyler Johnson at 4-4 with no Dragic, although I'm not really trying to go grab guys against Memphis. Monty Morris at 4K against OKC. Like, the minutes he's getting, the pace up, I just can, you know, Murray's dealing with some injury. You never know, like, if he could aggravate that in like, the first quarter, and then Morris goes bananas. But he's gone for over 30 last two. You know, as short as they are, I think he's locked in for 25 or more minutes at 4K and pace up spot. I can definitely get some of that. Even further down, I don't see a ton down here.
It's ugly down there, bro.
Yeah, you know, like I think point guard's a position we're going to be at least mid-tier to spending up at. And we'll see, like, some of these injury situations, you know, like, depending how short Boston is, that could open something up. Depending how short Washington is, like maybe a Satoransky opens up. But right now, I don't really like it a ton. Monty Morris is probably my favorite down there.
I agree, man. Like, you had mentioned Monty Morris right before we started the show. After I told you that I don't see shit down there, and that was awesome because I do like that. He's been filling a role with Gary Harris. Like they are a little thinner. They need some help. So there's use for him right now. Murray, I know he's going to play and everything, but he is playing a little banged up, a little sore. So I like that call. But outside of that, it's just gloomy as fuck down there. There's just nothing pretty down there. It's pretty ugly. Maybe some of this stuff opens up tomorrow. Maybe we have a different approach. But on a first look, like, I see him and I'm like, all right, if I need value, I'm coming here. But I liked so much up top that right now I'm with you. I'm kind of leaning up towards paying up for some of the point guards up there. Let's move it over to shooting guards, Paulie. What you see above 5K over there?
Over there. Let this bit load. Taking a little time. Ooh, a little stack correction action. Interesting.
Action?
Yeah.
I could use a positive one. It never works out that way, but I'm literally... So the final... I'm a point... I'm 1.75 at a second in the $20, so that would at least bump me up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm only 2.5 from first place, which would be from 750 to 2. The final verdict, right now I'm up 2260. So not a bad
That's
day.
awesome, man.
Not a bad day.
Nice. 3 days in a row, bro.
3 days in a row.
That's not easy to do.
It's
Good
the
for you, my man.
we do it for the nation, Paulie. You know this. We do it
Dude,
for the nation.
gotta set the bar.
Yeah.
So I mean, I already talked about Oladipo. I really should have left him for shooting guard. Already talked about D'Angelo Russell. So if you're not playing Dame, then you got to look at CJ McCollum, who's been balling, and that's why Dame's price is coming down because McCollum's actually out shooting him, out usaging him. McCollum is not so much a peripheral guy as Dame can be, but he's also 1,400 cheaper. One of these two guys is going to be low owned and a very good play tomorrow. I got to take a look at why is McCollum taking more. Is it matchup or is he just like, it seems like his game is elevated this year. Like he's been impressive. After that, I don't mind Tim Hardaway. Wings against Charlotte is a pretty cheap price for him. He has not looked good lately, but he's got the most secure minutes on the team. I do think Bogdan of the Kings, Bogdanovich, is kind of interesting here against Golden State. He's one of their better players. He's a good shooter. He's taking a lot of shots. He can get assists. I don't mind that. Cheap way to get exposure. Josh Richardson is 5,600. Like, it's Memphis, but that is crazy cheap with Dragic out. Hassan Whiteside supposedly back. Just an interesting price that, we have to at least look into. And, we got to see who's around for Boston. If Jaylen Brown plays, I like him against Atlanta at 5,400. He's looked good lately, and if it was just an illness, then, I would expect he's fine. And that's it.
Yeah, man. Definitely some stuff we got to check out tomorrow with that Boston team. I think Horford's out. Jaylen Brown, like you reminded me, he was sick before. They're playing Atlanta, so that's a situation that we're going to want to know what's going on. Anytime a team's playing Atlanta, we have to know. Is there a possibility that it's going to stay close? And if it is, we need to load up. And like Boston, like that's one thing about Boston. It's like it's sometimes when they're deep, it could be hard to figure out who's going to produce, but it's always at least one of them. Like somebody goes ham when they're in a pace up spot like this. Like somebody does it. Whether it's Morris or Hayward or Kyrie. Like picking them could be tough, but usually in this kind of situation, like one of them will get there. It's just like navigating on which one. You mentioned Oladipo against Philly. I do like that, man. The teams against Philly, especially shooting guards against Philly, we've seen what Dinwiddie just did to Philly. Dinwiddie, that's the second time Dinwiddie did it to him this year. D'Angelo Russell went for 60 on these guys once before. Even if Butler is back, like that game that Dinwiddie and Russell both went off was when Butler was playing. So Depot at 8-4 in a pace-up situation, a team that like I'm not going to say that they're a terrible defensive team. I do think they've improved a little bit, but their pace just doesn't matter. They play so fast, it just doesn't matter. And they struggle against shooters. So Depot at 8-4, I'm into that. D'Angelo Russell, like you said, man, again, 7-3 at home against Washington. We love taking teams against Washington. We like taking guys that can score. D'Angelo Russell going to score. Only problem with D'Angelo Russell is he doesn't always get the minutes we'd like him to. I like to call McCollum. I do like Dame a lot at his price, but I am very tempted by McCollum at 7-1 because of like where they struggle. It's been the shooting guard position. That's really been one of the places that and like a true big where you want to attack Toronto. So I do think that there's some interest there. Tim Hardaway Jr. I wouldn't mind. Wings against Charlotte. I know that he's been a little disappointing lately, but the shot attempts were up a little bit in that last game. He played 43 minutes against in that Cleveland game. 43 minutes. Yeah. That doesn't mean shit because Fizdale's going to play the hot hand, whatever. But we could look at it and hope. If he got 43 minutes against Charlotte, a team that we know.
And I think Lee's supposed to be back.
Oh, wait. Oh, Courtney Lee, he's coming back already? Right? That's it? That was his stint?
I think so. I thought that's what you said. He's supposed to come back Friday.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, not that he's going to eat into it a ton, but...
Right. No. It's, like, but it's another body. He ain't going to get no 43. No. Yeah. He ain't getting no 43. No. That's for sure. All right, move us under 5K, Paulie. What you see down there?
Um, Man, Nick Batum is now 4,700. The minutes have been solid. I think he's worth a shot here against the Knicks. If there's any team he's going to do well again, it would be the Knicks. Um, I could see Danny Green doing well against Portland for Toronto if Kawhi's out, but really only if Kawhi's out, and that's kind of reaching. Um, Alan Crabb got nicked up for the Nets. If he misses, then Joe Harris at 4,300 would be interesting here. Um, Man, I was really impressed by Furkan Korkmaz. Like, Jimmy Butler's questionable. I hope Jimmy misses so we can play this guy again because I like his game.
That dude was a baller.
Yeah. Man, I'm looking, I'm hunting. I don't see a ton. I guess also if Alan Crabb misses, then Shabazz Napier would probably enter the conversation at 3,400 and probably get back some solid minutes. We saw when Joe Harris missed. That'd be all, man. I don't see guard is not deep in value land.
No, definitely not. It seems like a position where we might want to pay up. Hopefully, we have some value at the forward and or center positions. What about Kevin Huerter? I haven't played this guy very much at all this year, but his last two games, he saw 36 minutes in both. And like he didn't do like 23 and 25 is fine. It's not like exceptional, but the minutes are pretty impressive. I guess we got to see if Lynn's out. We got to see how thin they are. You got to see.
Lynn's expected back.
Oh yeah. Okay, so that'll probably end that experiment. Because it's not just about the minutes with him; it's also like a usage thing. So if Lynn comes back, that's a high usage player. It's just less likely that he sees too much action. I'm with you, man. There's not a ton down here. It's ugly. That was one of those hoping and praying shits, and we don't do the hoping and praying shits. So, let's go over to small forward. Let's see how it looks up top. Maybe we'll find some value after. What you see?
I mean, Giannis against Cleveland on the road. I just don't see Cleveland keeping it close. Milwaukee's very, very good, but third, fourth team, maybe just throw Giannis in there. If they do blow him out, it could be on the strength of him just going bonkers. It's been a while too since he had like one of those monster games. This is as good a spot as any, especially with Tristan Thompson now. He should get all the rebounds. Paul George against Denver. We prefer wings against Denver. We talked about how their better defensive guys are out, so the defense isn't going to be as good. I don't mind Jeremy Lamb against the Knicks at 5,600, especially if you want exposure but don't want to go to Kemba. He's probably your next best bet. That's it.
Yeah, I don't see a ton I like up here. Obviously, the top, of course, your game stack scenarios, Giannis in a game stack, sure. Kevin Durant in a game stack in a game that could be interesting at the end, sure. Same thing with Curry. Kawhi is probably the first one that, like, if Kawhi is going to play, right, like against Portland, we know that scoring guards just destroy Portland. They're not a very good defensive team. They don't have a guy to put on him. And Kawhi is obviously versatile. He's very, very tough to cover when he plays. So if he does play, I do like the spot for Kawhi at 9-3. Paul George right under him, I don't mind, but it is Denver. It is the altitude. I kind of like the situation that Westbrook's in. But if the game shoots out, then they're both going to be in a good situation. So I'm not going to put the X on Paul George just yet, but that is another, like, I think, game stack type considerable game if I choose him over Westbrook or with Westbrook. After that, I'm with you, bro. Like, I don't see a ton that I love. Like, the prices just aren't necessarily right. Even the Boston guys, like we mentioned, like, you have to pick the one that goes off. And that's a dangerous thing to do because there's a good chance that Boston makes quick work of Atlanta. So you got to hope whatever guy you get hits and gets in there. And like the prices that these guys are, I don't necessarily feel comfortable at those prices. Like Tatum is only 6'3". He's on the decline, but we haven't really seen much from him lately. Marcus Morris, on the other hand, has been playing out of his mind. And I like what we're seeing. But now his price is kind of up. And now it's like if he happens to have a mediocre game, it's just not cutting it no more. Now you need him to go for those 40 burgers he's going for. So, and I certainly can. But it's just there's nothing I see in this like mid range that's like standing out to me a ton. It's looking like maybe like a high low situation. Either I'm going up or I'm going down. But we'll find out when you take us down. When you take us down to Value Town. What you see down there, Paulie?
Not a lot. Um, pretty much everyone on Charlotte's attractive. MKG, I'm almost positive has good history against the Knicks. If we think he's going to get minutes, I don't mind that. But I think I like everyone else we talked about on Charlotte better. Nemanja Bjelica, his minutes seem to be rounding back into form. I like him against tougher opponents like Golden State, 4,200. He's probably my favorite right now down here in Value Land. Kevin Knox, 4,800. He's been getting good minutes, depending how thin the Knicks are. They definitely like him for their future. So he's probably a guy that could even not have a hot hand and get minutes. If Crab is out, I actually Damari Carroll's my favorite play at 3,500. If Crab were to be out, I actually think Damari Carroll's probably viable even without Crab out. But just he becomes a super solid play if Crab is out. Then we could probably get like high 30 minutes as opposed to like mid 20s. Juan Hernan Gomez, with how short Denver is, I love him. He just does a lot. They're going to be getting paced up, so they just don't price him over 5K. I like him a bunch. We got Trey Lyles last game. Like, they didn't start him, and I don't really understand exactly why, but the minutes dropped a bunch. The usage actually increased, but he didn't have as good of a game, and I would want him starting to play him at 4-4 now, because now the price is higher, and it's a somewhat tough matchup, possibly. That's really it. I really like the Hernan Gomez, and the net situation could open some things up, and I do like Bjelica.
Yeah, I think that these prices for these guys. Not that anybody is like standing out that's phenomenal, but I can deal with these a lot easier. Like Kevin Knox a week against Charlotte, I like that, especially if he does start again. The minutes seem to be all right. Obviously, with Fizdale, you're constantly dealing with the fact that you don't know how many minutes your guy's really going to get. Even Hardaway, who we thought's minutes were invincible, we found out there was a little part where they weren't, and he was he was even capped at 30 when he was playing bad. So I do like the Knox call. He's been playing well. It's kind of like trying to think like the coach. This guy's been my hot hand. I'm going to give him an opportunity to be that hot hand. So we think Knox is going to get that chance. So at 4-8 in a good matchup, I'm cool with that. After that, like you said, Wancho, the GOAT. I know OKC is a very good defensive team, but he's at home, and the minutes this guy is playing, it's just ridiculous. They just don't have a ton of options. And like at this point, you're talking about a guy that's playing 37, 36, 40, and 37 minutes. Like he had one bad game after they had a grueling part of their schedule. It was basically like a 4-6, a 3-4 type situation, and he finally had a bad game against Memphis, the slowest team in the league. You know what I'm saying? Yep. So picking it back up against OKC with the pace. I know they play good defense, but I do think at home Wancho is a phenomenal value play at 4-7, like we like to say. Like our boy Cash in DFS. One day we're going to say it right, Cash. One day we will be saying it right. I'm with you on Lyles, too. I'm cool with Lyles only if he starts, though. If they play that big man, that double big man shit, I'll just go to the big man. I'll play Plumlee. I don't give a, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But if they're going to play that bullshit, I'm not getting down with that. If Otto Porter is out, would you go back to Jeff Green? I'm sure he'll be extremely popular if that were to happen, obviously. His price is up to 4-3. He's up to 4-3. He was 3-6 that day. He's up to 4-3.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if Porter's out, that price is still like fair,
Yeah.
but maybe, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's like, that was like a once in a lifer, but he could still get you like 25 and you'd be happy at 4-3. So
Absolutely.
depending, and that game went to overtime too.
Yeah, I don't know. 45 minutes, yeah. And we went to
Yeah.
overtime. There's no doubt about it. I'm with you. It's a good situation for his position. But to me, like with Boston, like that to me it was a couple things, like revenge, and there were a couple things driving it. This is just good matchup. But okay, great, good matchup, but you're not that high usage of a player and you're not that efficient of a player for me to have an expectation that you're going to give me what you gave me. He did his good, got a double double, but it took him overtime to get the double double. He only took 11
Yeah.
shots. He just made 7 of them, so he just shot really well.
Yeah.
7-11, Cash coming. 7-11, 7-11. Be practicing. One day I'm going to say it, and then Cash is going to be like, hold up. Did I just say something out loud? Did I just say 7 out loud? And be like, nah, bro. Been practicing, bro.
Practicing.
Been practicing that shit. One of these days. So it does look like I'll stop there, but like I'm with you on Bielitsa too. But like in general, I feel more comfortable paying these prices for these guys than I did in the mid range up there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think I'm gonna high low that shit. Either go to the top with the KDs and the Kawhis, or just come down here with the Knoxes and below. Let's go over to power forwards, Paulie. What you see over there?
7-2 for John Collins. I could play, especially if like the Horfords are out, the Baines limited are not playing. He's just massive usage. They like him. Like you got no worries about minutes with him unless he gets in foul trouble. And we like bigs against Boston, so I actually kind of like that. Man, Domantas Sabonis has not looked good lately. Some of that's been like foul trouble. I could see them needing him against Philly. Price is way down now. Maybe. Serge Ibaka against Portland. No Joval. He's good regardless, but now there's just more path to minutes, especially. I expect this game to be kind of close. I like stretch fours against Portland. Same sentence. Put Pascal Siakam up there, like one of those two. Marvin Bagley against Golden State. I think he would fit more of a blowout build for me at 5'7". He's now $1,000 higher. I think he doesn't close in a close game. I wouldn't want that. So I think he's more like if you think Golden State runs away and then he does like the Montrezl Harrell, play the whole fourth and just smash against the backups kind of thing. Noah Vonleh is an option. The Hornets don't really have many guys that can get them into foul trouble, so if he's going to be on the court, he should do pretty well. And Markieff at 5-1, I think, is a very solid play against Brooklyn, regardless of Porter or anything. I like that. I'm shocked his price is that far down. You're on mute.
Good call. Yo. Draymond Green is probably the first guy that stands out, aside from the dudes up top that we talked about at small forward. 6'8" against Sacramento, a team that we know struggles against bigs typically. Draymond only played 25 minutes the last game. It was a blowout. Before that, we did see, I think, 29-ish. So I do think he'll play around 30 if he has to, maybe even more now that he's had a couple games back. At 6'8", we know that a guy has massive upside. Like, you're taking a chance right now because right now he's showing like floors that you don't want to touch at 6'8". But we know that the guy is realistically like an 8K player normally. So it's getting him at this price in a fast-paced game. I mean, that last Kings game, like, the more I think about it, the more I think in tournaments I want to force myself to like that Golden State game a little more. Number one, the Kings are playing out of their mind right now. They're playing extremely well, and we've been waiting for them to kind of fall back down and come back to reality, and they're just not. They're just competitive every single night. They're driving the scores up every single night with these guys. Golden State is actually, they're the ones who don't look so crisp just getting blown out on a 3-4, 4-6 Toronto Raptors at home without Kawhi Leonard. So I think that like that's the game that I want to have more interest in come tomorrow. I think it's just a matter of like where do you want to attack it from, because these guys are all expensive. But Sacramento is the team. Like they just played Minnesota, the Timberwolves, and the score was like what 130 to 141. Like the pace that these guys are running at is insane. It's like the Hawks, except they're actually a good team. So you get the close game effect. You know what I'm saying? But that seems to be the situation. Man, what happened to Sabonis, man? It came back down to earth hard. Real hard.
Yep.
I don't mind it in the tournament. He's down to 6'5". This is a dude that people were paying 7-something for as a backup. Back down to 6'5". I don't mind it. It's Philly. You know what I'm saying? If there was a spot to do it, it could be here. That's nothing more than a tournament risk, though. Nance is 6'2", the bastard. That bastard's
no way.
6'2" for that guy. Oh my
There's no way.
God. Oh.
I ain't doing it.
No, I'm with you. And then, like you said, man, Markieff Morris, I know he's been playing terrible, but the man is playing center, and we like centers against Brooklyn. That's just what we like. So, like you said, if Porter's out, I still like it. If Porter's in, I still like it. 5-1 is too cheap, at least in tournaments. You got to have some of that, man. This guy's got upside. Let's move it. Let's move it under the value. What do you see down there?
All right, let's see. There's definitely a couple options down here. So Mason Plumlee at 4-3. If he's starting, I definitely like him against like a Jeremy Grant. Ed Davis is seeming to like kind of be squeezing Jared Allen out of there, especially like lately. 20 minutes, 21-20, and now 30 against Philly in a really close game. Washington doesn't pose as much size, but like I don't know. Like I don't know if it's just a size thing. Like you might just be outplaying them. And against Washington right now, you want big. So Ed Davis at 3,400. If he's going to play 20 to 30 minutes, that is a really interesting value play. I'm looking. This feels like a 6-game slate.
Yeah.
But not. Ah, man. Like, all right. Al-Farouq Aminu's 4,500. We like stretch fours against Toronto. I believe Harkless is going to be out. Like, I don't mind that. But it's nothing that I'm too excited about. It's like all I got, dog.
I got a couple grungy ones. Like they're risk. They're risk. There's definite risk to these guys, but one is this Robert Williams kid, and I think that he would fit the blowout build scenario. Like if you think Boston is going to beat the shit out of Atlanta, you know what I'm saying? 3.5.
What's his price?
He's 3.5. So like again, that's like you're hoping. Like I would think Boston is capable of blowing out Atlanta. But we do know that Atlanta is fairly rested. They've had like one game in the last like 4 days. So like, and Boston, they are missing some guys. At least Horford, we'll have to see. But I would think if they can beat New Orleans, fully healthy without fucking Horford, like Baines and whoever else, and Hayward, I would think they could make quick work of Atlanta. So like, if you're playing that in your head in a tournament, I don't mind playing a guy like Robert Williams, who's a high point per minute guy when he's on the court, and maybe he sees 20 minutes if the game gets really ugly. You know what I mean? The next one I think would be Thomas Bryant, and this is a guy that's probably going to start, probably ain't going to get more than like 18-20 minutes, but he is going to be the starting center against Brooklyn. Maybe he can beast up real quick when he is in the game. Maybe if Marcus Morris does happen to have his hands full or get into foul trouble, because like now that I think about it, like Markieff Morris is, if he is going to start off in the second unit, he could start off seeing some Ed Davis, which could be tough. Ed Davis is a big physical guy, and if that were to happen, that might force Bryant. They might have to switch that a little bit, or get Bryant more time on the court. So either way, 3-4, power forward eligible. If we're desperate for value, like I'm with you. I don't love the value. I think a lot of the value we're going to end up using is probably going to be from the small forward carryover. Like some of those guys we talked about, a small forward that are power forward eligible, we're probably more likely to use those guys. But these are a couple like flyer guys to consider, right? Blow out Bilskis. You're trying to go stars and scrubsies. Let's move it over to centers, Paulie. What you see over there? So far, I agree with you. For a 9-game slate, it's feeling very small right now.
Yeah. All right. Center. I don't really have a ton of interest in Embiid, especially if Butler's back against Indiana. But he's always like in the discussion. Um, Enes Kanter is the first guy I like for GPPs. You just never know. It's like, if you get it right, he'd go for 50 in this spot and like win you a tournament. But he can also get 18 minutes and get you like a 20 and ruin you. So it's a risk play, but it's a phenomenal spot. I think Nurkic is definitely interesting at 6'7" against Toronto. Willie Cauley-Stein, 6,400, although he is not looking great lately, but center's been destroying Golden State. And we expect this thing to be close, get 4 rotations. Steven Adams was awesome the other night. I guess it was against New Orleans. I could see him doing the same thing here against Denver, and he's only 6'3". The price is coming way down. I like him. Going further down the list, starts to get ugly, but don't worry. Sunshines are ahead because we have Greg Monroe at 3-6 with no Joe Val against Portland. One of the Boston centers, like in a closer game build, either Theus or Baines, would be viable against Atlanta as well for just a little bit more than that Robert Williams guy. How about this? How about some Willie Hernangomez revenge at 3,300 against the Knicks?
Oh, shit. Hernan Goat Revenge. Oh, God.
He played 16 minutes against Detroit in a close game last time.
He's going to give it to him, man.
Yeah, I don't know. That is as thin as center gets, man.
Yeah. How popular do you think Jokic would be tomorrow?
Against Steven Adams.
Like, are people going to buy into the matchup? Because, I mean, Jokic has put up some monster games against Adams before. Not always. His last game earlier this year was not great. It should have been. He had a very terrible day. He shot 6 for 20 from the field. But, like, the game before that, going back to last year, his last 2 games against them in last season, on February 1st, he went for 76 against OKC at home in Denver. 14 assists, 13 rebounds, 29 points. On March 30th, he went for 58 against these guys. So he has a couple duds worked in there, but he has a 70 from April of 2017. So he's seen Adams a few times. Obviously, they play a fair amount. And, like, it looks to me like he's won a majority of these battles. And right now, specifically, we know with Gary Harris and Millsap gone, the true usage monster for this team right now is going to be Jokic. So it's like, I do like, don't get me wrong, I think Murray is interesting too, because if Adams wins that battle, then Murray's going to have to do everything. Yeah. But if Adams doesn't win the battle and people don't play Jokic because I think it's a bad matchup, like that could be interesting. I don't know. I would think people don't look at matchup as much as we do. We're obviously very much into a little nutty with the NBA stuff. Like we're so deep into it, but maybe people don't pay attention to matchup they play. What do you think? Like I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a weird slate. Yeah. We're going to have to get a pulse for the industry tomorrow. But
yeah,
you're right. He's definitely in the conversation, just where his usage is at. And, like, he can get you there in a variety of ways that Steven Adams won't interfere with, like assists and steals and three-pointers and things like that. So he's definitely in the conversation.
Right.
After that, though, it's like...
Yeah, after that, it's all nothing but risk. You had mentioned Kanter. 7-1 is a decent price again. Just like you said, you're flipping the coin. It seemed like they didn't want to play Kanter in that game, but the Knicks were getting so embarrassed, they just brought him on. Every time they were down by 20, they would bring Kanter back in. So
and
like,
he would bring them right
and
back.
he would bring him right back. So they were just trying. It seemed like they were trying not to play him, and they realized like, okay, we can't get embarrassed here. All right, go, get us back. And then they had no choice but to leave him in after that. I don't know, but obviously it is a smash spot if he does get the opportunity. Nurkic at 6'7". Now he's been playing extremely well. Joval's gone, and like he was the one guy that they were bringing in to help fend off the bigs. So without Joval in, how does Nurk not dominate? I mean, 6'7's too cheap. He's coming off a game in which he shot 1 for 15 against Memphis. Nurkic shot 1 for 15 against Memphis,
Wow.
but he's still.
How does that happen?
I have no idea, but you know damn sure.
I honestly like need to see that replay.
I know.
Because
I know.
Like, can any like how many of those were even like more than 15 feet
That's what I'm
shot?
saying.
Like how?
It was just chucking.
Wow.
Only one of them was a 3. So, but like obviously that's a rarity from him. I would expect him to come out playing a little extra, and he's gonna see Ibaka and Jaws. You know what I'm saying? Like that's it. That's all he's gonna see is Ibaka and Jaws. That's it. No Joval for a while. So 6'7" for big Nurk dog down low, coming off an awful game. Even when he shot 1 for 14, still went for 26 because that's what Nurkic do. If the man gets the minutes, the man goes out and balls. And he also has to stay out of foul trouble. He's got a problem with that sometimes. But those are the guys, man. And then, like you said, for value, bro, like don't get me wrong, I don't mind like a Willie Cauley-Stein if you hope that game stays close. The problem with Cauley-Stein, we've said it several times, his minutes are in flux. He can get anywhere from 26 to 32. He's not seeing that 39 he used to. But like you said, bro, like the next most interesting guy I think is to drop down, way down, and look at Jaws, man. I think that at 3-6, like without Joval, you would think he's gonna get some time. Only got 7 against Golden State, like. That's a little concerning. We'll have to look at the rotations and see where he played what. But, like, we've seen this guy play before when Joval couldn't. We saw Joval get into foul trouble against Drummond, and they had no problem bringing Jaws in. I think Ibaka was out. Joval got into foul trouble. They had no problem using Monroe. So, 3-6, that's a guy we want to put in our back pocket. And if we think he's going to play, just play his ass because we know what Jaws could do. Point per minute monster. No defense though. No, you hear Jaws said that he said he goes like he's not even mad about not playing. He said this is the best NBA team I've ever been on about the Raptors.
Yeah.
So I think he's like got that humble pie. Like these guys are actually mad good.
Yeah.
So
I might win a championship.
Yeah, I'm like I might give me a ring after all. How about that?
Yeah.
I'm like keep my mouth shut and just keep my squad. But I'm with you, bro. It's like it's a weird slate. Top 3s are gonna be fun. That's gonna do it for the position by position breakdown. At this point. Gonna remind everybody to go check us out at whitestate.com for more fire DFS content. This is obviously a first look podcast we do the night before, just to get everybody kind of thinking and cover some obvious general stuff the night before. But to get our true content, come over, check us out, whitestate.com. Get yourself a day pass if you want to try out the content side. $2.50, all the cost to get you access. You'll get access to Paulie D's cheat sheets tomorrow, the Y stream. I'm sure we do 2 hours before lock. It will be Cash and Paulie on the Y stream. You'll get access to a cash article, tournament article, the expert poll. Plenty of stuff. Come rock with it. Those of you that have already tried the day pass, you already know what's up with the content. And the nation is hot right now. I shit you not. One thing me and Paulie don't like to do is blow steam up our own ass, blow smoke up our own ass. The nation is hot right now, bro. We have screenshots in the Slack right now. We got people winning. I know we've all been cashing. Like we're just on a streak. It's the only way I could put it. It's a crazy hot streak. Cash, Paulie, myself. Like everybody's just kind of warming up right now and just crushing. So it's probably a good time to come aboard. If you've had a day pass or a week pass, whatever the case is, you already know what the content is. You know what it is we do. So get yourself a monthly pass and you'll get access to our Slack chat. So the Slack chat we have, that's where all of our members talk, break down the slates together. We come in and out of there as well. We got updates, feeds, injury news stuff coming in there. To get access to that, you have to be a monthly member or higher. And you'll get access to our Slack chat. Aside from that, Paulie, let's do some top 3s and we'll get up out of here, bro. Who are your top 3 point guards tomorrow?
Take Bledsoe. I'll take Russ, and I will take Trae Young.
Trae Young, I'm with it. I'm gonna go with Westbrook, Damian Lillard, and I will go with I'll go with Bledsoe as well. Shooting guards, Paulie.
Give me D'Angelo Russell. Give me some Bogdanovich. And I will take Monty Morris.
Monte. I'm going to go with D'Angelo Russell as well. I will go with Jamal Murray, and I'll go with Tim Hardaway Jr. Let's go to small forwards. Paulie, what you got here?
Juan Hernan Gomez. Paul George. And
Bielitsa. I will go with Kawhi Leonard, assuming he plays. I will go, and with no restriction. Got to clarify on that ish. I will go with Mr. Kevin Knox, and let's go with Juancho Hernan Gomez, power forwards, Paulie.
John Collins, Markieff Morris, and Ed Davis.
I will go with Draymond Green. I will go with... Let's go Draymond. Let's go... I wish I knew who was starting in that Denver situation, but I'm not going to go anything that I don't know. I'll go with Serge Ibaka. And let's see if we give you some value. Let's go with the punt option of Bryant against Brooklyn. Centers, Paulie.
Nurkic. Jokic. And Monroe.
I'm with it, bro. Jokic and Nurkic, definitely my two faves. And then I guess I will throw a dart on... I'll throw a dart on Willie Cauley-Stein only because I'm going to try and dig in on that game tomorrow. I think it's going to be fantasy lucrative. If you know what I'm saying. You're like, I said that fantasy lucrative. Making shit up all day. It's what we do. It just flows out. We don't even try for this shit. It just flows out. Fantasy
lucrative, baby. I like lucrative.
It. I'm sure that doesn't make much sense, but it did at the time. It just flowed. It was just... That is going to do it for the Wise Take DFS podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, please click that thumbs up, that like button, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget the notification bell so you're notified whenever we go live with some free content here. If you're watching us on Facebook, give us a like and a share to support the Wise Take Nation. If you're watching us on Twitch or Twitter, give us a follow, give us a retweet. And if you're listening to us on Podbean or iTunes, give us some 5-star reviews. All these things really help us out to go a long way to support the Wise Take Nation. So whatever platform it is you are watching or listening on, do us a favor, show a little bit of love. Really helps us out. Paulie, anything in closing before we get out of here?
No, man, I'm exhausted after this quadruple header. Check us out tomorrow. The nation is hot. Check out the Twitter. Check out the Slack. Screenshot City. We're going to do it again tomorrow.
It's what we do. For Paulie D, for myself, the entire Wise Take Nation, as always, good luck.
Peace.